Pakistan has had its share of political and feminist issues. As a developing country from the onset, political instability and then the army regime contributed to the political instability. And along with it came the suppression of women. It started with the dictatorial rule of General Zia al-Haq. Under his presidency, the appointment of the Hudud Ordinance of 1979 made it difficult for women to seek justice for rape. This initiated a movement from a group of women as these ordinances were deemed against women. This group of women was started under the umbrella of Shakat Gah and was called the Women Action Forum. Shakat Gah started in Pakistan in 1975. It was established to help fight for women's rights. Among the feminist group was Farida Shaheed, whom I have chosen to talk about. Farida Shaheed is a Pakistani socialist and human rights advocate. She is one of the founding members of the Women Action Forum, WAF. Among the noted works by Shaheed is being involved in the Transitional Feminist Network under Muslim law and the United Nations Special Rapporteur. She has actively participated in activism focusing on rural development, labor issues, and religion, focusing on gender and feminism. Shaheed and other Shakatga members worked on gender equality, empowered marginalized voices, strengthened the feminist movement, and formulated feminist policies. I am eager to understand the Zia regime that reshaped Pakistan and how feminists from the country fought against injustices. Shaheed stands out as a key figure in the push for female equality and has numerous accomplishments. I will explore Shaheed's life story and her impact on feminism in Pakistan, a developing country. My first source is Shaheed's Maintaining Momentum in Changing Circumstances, Challenges of Women's Movement in Pakistan. The paper examines the origin of the feminist movements in Pakistan and the changes in the women's collective brought about as an activist movement as part of Shakat Gah. This paper examines the start of WAF, which was started as the members of Shakat Gah brought paper clippings of atrocities carried out against women under the Hudud Ordinance. Due to the Hudud Ordinance, women were not only falsely accused of zina, sex outside of marriage, being put in jails and lashed, but were also facing sexual harassment. This paper talks about the strategies used to fight for women's rights. The pace of the movement eased in 1985 when General Zia lifted martial law. The paper discusses how women's activist movement changed the meaning after Zia al-Haq's death. It talks about how the movement changed with the changing regimes in the country. The paper then examines how women's activism has changed with the new generation and the new challenges women face. The paper also discusses how the new generation deals with women's challenges, such as Urat to March. However, this paper concludes that today's activism risks being a temporary surge rather than a new phase movement. My second reference, also authored by Farida Shaheed, is Contested Identities, Gendered Politics, Gendered Religion in Pakistan. In this paper, Shaheed explores how Islam has been used in politics and how it has impacted women. This paper discusses how Pakistan was established as an Islamic country, but Zia al-Haq later politicized Islam. The paper also examines why gender roles defined in Zia's era still have an impact years after his death. Shaheed examines how Islam was inserted into the Republic. Muhammad Ali Jinnah founded Pakistan for Muslims of India. Jinnah, according to Shaheed, attended Pakistan as a secular state, which later was created into Islamic State. Soon after Jinnah's death, the religious leaders passed the Objectives Resolution in 1949 and introduced the Sharia, the Muslim way of life, as part of the state's new legal system. The paper looks into the Zia regime and the Islamization and its role in determining women's rights. Feminism in Pakistan is comprised not only because of any any form of women's activism is labeled as being westernized, but also because women lack unity and are divided by classes, privilege, and culture. Shaheed concludes that Pakistan would be different if the country's rulers had different views of politics and religion. My third source is the cultural articulation of patriarchy, legal systems, and Islam and women. By Farida Shaheed. In this article, Shaheed examines how Pakistan's patriarchal system intertwined with Islam suppressed women. Shaheed looks into how the British, while ruling India, used the legal system to deprive Muslim women of their inheritance. In this article, Shaheed discusses the jurisprudence in Pakistan and how it combines customary law, religious law, and British civil and criminal law. Shaheed talks about how women in third world countries are affected adversely by colonialization. Shaheed looks into how the interpretation of Islam has reshaped women's roles due to patriarchal interpretations of Islam based on how women are suppressed under these different law systems and interpretations of women's rights under the current patriarchy. Shaheed questions that it is not surprising that women's political decision-making is minimal in Pakistan.